Today we're going to be taking a look at some stuff that Prodigy sent me a long time ago, but I wanted to check out the Shadow Facts because Justin Rozak had been talking these up. Last year when I went to the preserve, I think they dropped them. I didn't play in the preserve, I was just there, and I heard good things. I think they're 9.5 -22. They sent me one in 400 and one in 500 plastic. Both, oh, not actually, this is 175, this is 171. They feel like they're going to be slightly flippy, but still have some hook up to them. So honestly, the plastic, I haven't done anything to it. Doesn't feel like it's going to cut me. The flashing doesn't seem to be existent. This 500 plastic looks really cool, and I do really like this little elephant stamp, super cute. But I have some Infinite Discs to compare this to, the Dynasty and my Tour Series Sphinx, which there are still some available. Not too many, but there is going to be a second run. So if you are a retailer and you want to get your hands on them, please go ahead and buy some from the wholesale site. They seem to sell out pretty fast. And then they also sent me a Colorado Avalanche PA3. This disc is pretty sweet. We'll be putting with the PA3 today. Just make sure I throw it high and right and let it dump in. And we might throw it a little bit, but it's not the main thrower like these Shadow Facts are. This is what the profile of these discs look like. It is pretty nice, actually. It just, I mean, pretty normal. It does look like it's a little bit blunter than something like the Dynasty or the Sphinx. Here is the Dynasty versus the Shadow Facts. Just a little more bluntness right here, kind of more T-Bird-esque. And then this is the Sphinx. Very rounded over, and the Shadow Facts. So, Shadow Facts, we're gonna throw, I think, the 400 one. I hope it's a little flippy down here, or up here at elevation. We're gonna throw it up this right side. Just try to have a solid little shot. Oh, straighter than I thought. Dang it. That is a long putt. Okay. That, I was worried because of that bluntness of the bead that it wouldn't flip as easily as something like this. Like, I'll try to throw, this is the Dynasty, which is gonna be the more stable of these guys. Okay, maybe it's more like that. Just doesn't seem quite as glidey. Oh, and it doesn't get the good tree kicks. And then these ones, we'll compare the Sphinx versus the 500 plastic. And try to throw that same line just a little bit harder. Yeah, okay. I think that nose bead definitely makes them more overstable. This Sphinx is gonna be a much more flip-up guy. Just kind of late flipping the whole entire way. So, as you can see, Infinite Disc wins. But I think you can snag some Shadow Facts on Infinite site if you want to snag them by the end of the video, so I'll leave them linked down below. Yeah, the Sphinx and Dynasty, I obviously know how those are gonna fly. I think the Shadow Facts might almost be more comparable to like my seasoned Roman. That nose bead, or like the bluntness, is just a little bit interesting for me. I'm not quite sure what to think about it. It seems like an interesting choice on like what is supposedly a glidey, flippier disc. Because the wing, like, I would maybe understand it if the parting line was so low, like you're feeling it at the bottom of your hand, and you need to add some stability back at the end. But for something that is like a -2.2, maybe it does fly closer to that. But the Dynasty being a -1.2, and then that Sphinx being a -3.1, I don't know. This seems just to be on the more overstable end, and they're like right next to each other. Some good spreads, plenty of distance. So that is the 500, the 400, and then over here next to the basket, we have the Sphinx and the Dynasty. I will give major props to Prodigy for like this stuff. Their licensing, I think they did it with colleges as well. And they have it with the Avalanche and NHL. Like, that's super smart and super cool. I can't imagine how much it cost, but it's nice that they have it. Oh gosh, it's so overstable, holy cow. Wow, even just that, I know it's a little taily, but like, it just looks like it wants to drop. I honestly do like the stability for this in this head right to left. I think if I throw it on Touch of Annie, it's got this nose bead and it's not quite -2.2, so it'll stable out of it. It's got like a touch of dome, almost too domey for a fairway driver. More like the dome that I prefer on my distance drivers than my fairway drivers. I prefer those slightly flatter, but yeah, 375 straight ahead. I think we're gonna go the slightly low, no, the heavier one because of the wind. That's money if it gets down, please. Got all the way through the gap, but I bet I have like a headwind 45 footer. That is just not even close to as understable as the numbers would suggest. This is the Dynasty. Like, look at how much that's turning because of the wind. These are way more overstable. Here's a little Sphinxy boy. See a little flip up right into the tree. I'm gonna pipe this one a little lower through this gap. We'll have to figure out the difference in stability later. Yikes. Is actually like straight to stable. I would not say it's understable. Maybe that's just my arm speed. I don't know. Flips it easy. Actually not as bad as I thought. Not good though. No way! Oh, that drilled it.
Long distance competition right now.
Okay.
Your favorite disc versus mine.
I threw all my drivers, so
Yes.
I got a 9 speed. Are we doing this for what? 100 bucks? No, I'm just kidding. I'll throw this one. I don't know 100% how it flies yet. It's a Shadow Fax.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out. It's a little more stable than I thought.
Okay.
You first or me?
Either way.
All right, you call it.
All right, bro.
Ooh.
Nope, too high. Damn.
All right, I think I got you.
I think you got me. Oh, rock left, rock left. Holy dude.
Holy shit.
All right, can you sign my disc for me?
Bro,
Right
have a
on.
good rest of your round.
Yeah, have fun.
All right, we're gonna start here. Oh, okay, now there's a little bit of head left to right. See how far it went. Where's the Shadow Fax? Come on. It was just on this side. Shadow Fax from Prodigy. 469, 468. We're throwing the disc, baby. We're throwing the disc. You'll have to watch that video, the psychic video, because I threw an Emperor too far. I threw it too far. Definitely rode the wind, but I also just realized that I didn't throw the PA3 for my putt on the last hole. So as penance, we'll throw it as an upshot disc after the drive with the Shadow Fax. It was really cool to see disc golf growing in the area, but it is like really, really busy on a random Tuesday at like 2 p.m. I know it doesn't look like it over here, but I guess everyone decided to show up at the same time and play. Super busy groups. So we're gonna go back to hole 8's basket, play as a par 4, 600 feet, maybe about 580 from here. And then I think this will be the last hole because I got a lot of stuff going on today that I have to do, unfortunately. So maybe if I get into a field before I open this video, I'll throw these on a couple different angles. But I did throw that big rip on the Anheuser. This time the wind is pushing a little bit. That's kind of a head left to right. That's crazy. It's kind of pushing tail right to left. So if we throw kind of a big Annie to start, as it flexes out of it, it'll hook back left. Hopefully we can get it kind of to that stump. Well, I pulled it a little bit right. It's far. Yeah, that's a good shot. Let's kind of see if we can roll this. If we can roll this, we might be able to get all the way there. It's just going to take really intentional nose down. Oh, I did not throw that hard enough. Got it onto a roller angle. I just am really bad at throwing rollers, so I didn't trust it. For reference, for that first one, we'll throw this Dynasty on a very similar Anheuser. Not to put it way left though, just because of how much more understable it is. Similar Anheuser, less power. But man, that thing goes. I still think I have 30 of those on the site. And then we'll try to actually roll the Sphinx. There we go. It's just too much tall grass. Air shots are gonna be farther. Just curls up immediately. Well, 429, the Dynasty went 430. RIP. But we got a little, finally we're gonna throw the PA3 for a little upshot. Just gonna try to throw Annie stall. See if we can't get the 2. Wow. That's not bad. Wow, that is such a brick. Dang. One last Shadow Foxy boy. On forehand. Stay up. Breaking the lake sauce, if you know what I mean. Wish I could play the back nine, I just can't. Why do I have to have responsibilities? Freaking lame, dude. It's been so long since I had a putt. Oh wait, I need a putt with this. You silly boy. We're taking the first one. There's no one on hole 3, so we'll give this PA3 a rip. I'm guessing 315. Head right to left. Put on some Anheuser. Get the nose down. It's so stable, I think, that this should be good. What a brick. This is what one of my Tour Series Marvels would have done. Oh, flips up. I thought it would drift more. It's just too straight and glidey and really so perfectly good. Morning for all things. I realized I didn't really give final thoughts, and maybe I didn't throw these enough, but I think one of the benefits of reviewing so many discs and always comparing discs, I always bring stuff out to throw against it because sometimes I'm just throwing differently, and so that's why I brought the Dynasty and the Sphinx, because I knew how those would fly. What kind of surprised me about this was not only is it like more overstable, and I think a lot of that does come down to just how blunt this side is. It doesn't really have a nose bead like I was saying, but it is very blunt and a little bit deep for like that 9-speed category. I would say it's honestly not as different from the Feedback, which I reviewed a while back, which is supposed to be more like a Thunderbird, but it is definitely at higher speeds much more understable. I would say if you're not throwing over 400, 420, 430 with your drivers, not like saying you have to throw these that far, but if you're not throwing that far, you're probably not going to see that much of a difference between this and like a Feedback or like a Thunderbird. Maybe it's gonna have a little more push than them, but you're not really gonna get that flip up that you'll see like Kale Visca and, well, Kevin Jones was, or whoever was throwing these. I don't really know who's gonna be throwing them at this point. I have some thoughts in general on Prodigy, which I guess I'll give now because Banana Froth and rules don't matter, but I'm gonna cut this in before I get to the rest of my ramblings about my thoughts on Prodigy in general. It is high speed gonna be understable. It's gonna act like 9.5 -2.1 if you're throwing it as hard as I was throwing it later in the video for that distance contest, because I did see, oh my gosh, it's really holding on this glide. I didn't really get a ton of flip up here in Denver. I'm sure I could flip it up down at sea level, and I probably could flip it up here if I really wanted to, but it's not like a -2.2 disc I would think, like an Insanity or a Dynasty Sphinx, the mix between those. It's definitely not those. It's gonna be more overstable than that for the majority of people. Once I was throwing it at higher speed, I was seeing that turn, so it's there. It's just not always there for everybody. I honestly wonder two things. I wonder a couple things. One, I wonder if they're dropping players to create cap space for Isaac and Ezra. A lot of people talk about that, but I think some of the other more interesting reasons why that might be happening is Prodigy is clearing up cap space, not for that, but one of two reasons. One, the licensing deals are very expensive, and they've realized that it's more lucrative for something like that Colorado Avalanche PA3, which is somewhere over there, that is a better return on their investment than paying somebody who's potentially not moving a ton of plastic. The other thing that I think could be interesting is if Prodigy is looking for an exit. A lot of people haven't really talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it while I make this part real fast. But I think that the exit idea is kind of interesting because these contracts, yes, they're going to be up soon. I think maybe next year. But if they're going to be up next year and Prodigy's looking to make an exit, these contracts are liabilities on their balance sheet, basically something that they will owe. And so if they're looking at their balance sheet and they're saying, from what I've heard, Kevin Jones making $300,000 a year or something, Vino probably not making that much, but we'll put him for a collective $400,000 a year, or 30 grand a month in liabilities, debts that you owe, that if you're looking for an exit, looking to sell, EBITDA is like basically the multiple that a lot of companies, it's like earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. It's basically profit. And I'm not really a business guy, but I think kind of the amortization falls into what these liabilities are under. They're going to be having to pay over the life of these loans, these contracts, and so they're able to increase their profit by $400,000 by pawning these contracts off onto Innova or whatever Innova is going to be paying for them. And so if they're looking to make an exit and sell, then they're going to be selling for a more profitable multiplier. Obviously, I'm still going to continue to review them. I had my A series review that will be coming out sometime during this month before the baby comes. They might be doing this to look either for an exit, to look at further licensing deals because they realize it's a little bit more lucrative, or to free up cap space for their other players. So I'm about to turn into Prime Gannon Burr.